The stars were quiet that night. Zarnari scout vessel Talvern moved slowly near the edge of known space. The crew expected nothing. It was just a routine patrol near Sector 14, cold, empty space. But then, it appeared. "Commander, I'm picking up something strange," said Enra, the young radar technician. Her eyes were wide, staring at the blinking dot on her screen. "What is it?" Commander Drex stepped forward. "It's a ship, but it's not Zarnari. Not Varnek, not Kelari. I don't know what it is. Location? 6,000 clicks ahead. Just floating." The crew gathered around the screen. There it was, a black vessel, long and sharp like a spear, drifting in the darkness. No signal, no light. Just silent. Commander Drex gave the order. "Approach." Slowly, shields up. The Talvern crept closer. As the distance closed, the crew could see the mystery ship with their own eyes. It was huge, almost 3 times larger than their vessel. Its surface was smooth, with no visible weapons, no windows. Just one marking on the side in old Earth language, Aegis. Enra whispered, "That's human." Everyone froze. "Impossible." Drex said, "Humans disappeared 300 years ago. They're extinct. But this ship, it's real," said another officer. "And it's in perfect condition. Still, there were no life signs, no power detected. It looked abandoned. Maybe it's a ghost ship," someone muttered. Drexx made a decision. "Prepare a boarding team." The boarding crew moved carefully through the silent halls of the Aegis. Their suits kept them alive in the dark and cold. Flashlights flicked across strange metal walls. The interior was unlike any alien ship. It was beautiful, polished, symmetrical, yet somehow terrifying. "Look at this tech," whispered one of the engineers. "It's advanced, way beyond anything we've seen." The team reached what looked like a control room. There were no buttons. Just a smooth console and a single glowing panel. "Can we access the systems?" Drex asked. "I'll try. Wait." The lights turned on by themselves. Every hallway, every screen, every panel lit up in bright white light. Then, a voice. "Identity not recognized. Observation protocol activated." The team stepped back. The ship was not dead. It was awake. Suddenly, the door behind them slammed shut. Alarms echoed through the ship, but not loud alarms. They were slow, like a heartbeat. Thump, thump. Then silence. Drex tried to call the Talvern, but there was only static. "Get us out of here," he shouted, but the room began to shift. The floor moved. The walls bent like liquid. A hidden panel opened. Inside was a hologram of Earth. But Earth didn't look as they remembered from old records. This Earth glowed with energy. No cities. No pollution, just forests, oceans, and strange massive machines orbiting it. One of the team whispered, "This isn't the past. This is now." Then the voice returned, "This ship is a warning. Leave this place." The crew vanished. Not with a flash. Not with a sound. They simply disappeared. Back on the Talvern, Enra waited for a signal. Nothing came. Then, the Aegis powered up fully. Engines roared to life. Its black metal shone with invisible energy. And in 1 second, it vanished. Gone. No warp trace. No coordinates. Just emptiness. Enra sat frozen in her seat. She finally whispered, "They said humans were extinct." Her voice shook. But what if they just left? The Talvern returned to Zarnari Prime. Commander Drex was gone. So was the team. The council was called immediately. They reviewed the footage. They saw the word Aegis. They saw the voice message. And then they unlocked a secret file hidden for centuries. It was from the last Zarnari ambassador to Earth. "Humans are choosing isolation," the old message said. "They warned us not to provoke them. They said one day they may return. If they do, we must not interfere." The council sat in silence. One elder spoke. "We mocked them. called them weak, but that ship was a message. Another counselor asked, "A message from whom?" The elders stared into space. From ghosts that never really died. Out in the void, far from any star, the Aegis traveled through darkness. Inside its cold mind, it recorded everything. The scan, the encounter, the fear. Then it sent a signal, one simple pulse into the farthest reaches of deep space. A reply came. Dozens of signals lit up, each one from a ship like Aegis waiting, watching. And the stars grew silent again, but the silence was no longer safe. It was waiting. The council chamber was quiet. The air felt heavy as the leaders of the Zarnari Empire stared at the image on the central screen. The human vessel Aegis, dark, silent, and now gone. "This is a trick," hissed Counselor Vorek, slamming his hand on the table. "It must be Kalari tech. Or stolen. It's not human." "But the name," whispered Counselor Nari. "The voice. The message, you saw it." Elder Grell, the oldest of them all, slowly stood. His voice was calm but firm. "We were warned. The humans said long ago, do not follow them, do not disturb their space. We chose to forget," Vorek growled. "We are the ruling empire now. If they still exist, we must show strength. Send a fleet. Take the ship. Take?" Grell frowned. "You want to fight them after what you just saw?" "I want answers." The council voted. The result: 5 in favor, 3 against. The mission was clear. Send a fleet. Capture Aegis. Bring it home. The warning was ignored. Within hours, 5 Zarnari warships were sent toward the last known location of the human vessel. Admiral Korus stood on the bridge of the lead ship, Valrix. He had read the reports. He had seen the footage. But he didn't believe in ghost stories. Humans are clever, yes, but gone. "We'll bring that ship back, or destroy it if we must," he said. His second-in-command, Sira, didn't look so sure. "Sir, what if the ship reacts like before?" The scout team vanished. Korus gave a cold smile. "Then we don't board. We break it open from a distance." 3 days into the mission, the fleet reached the edge of Sector 14. Sensors scanned. The dark. Nothing. Then faint energy spikes. "Ship detected," an officer said. 70,000 clicks. Dead ahead. The Aegis hung in space like a shadow. No lights, no movement. Korus stared at the screen. "Begin lock on. Prepare to fire warning shots." Suddenly, all 5 ships lost power. Lights flickered. Engines stopped. Even gravity control failed. "Status report," shouted Korus. "Total systems failure, sir. No weapons, no shields." On the screen, Aegis powered up just like before, but this time something new appeared. A symbol. A glowing white circle with a single vertical line through it. "What is that?" Sira asked. The crew stared in silence. Then the message came. "This is Aegis 1. You are trespassing in Human Recovery Zone 01. Turn back now." Korus gritted his teeth. Human Recovery Zone. What does that mean? No one answered. Suddenly, Aegis moved. Not fast but smooth. Effortless. It passed through the Zarnari fleet without touching a single ship. But as it moved, systems flickered back on. Lights returned. Engines hummed. But only after Aegis left. The center. It had disabled them. Just by being near. Korus was shaking now. What kind of ship can shut down 5 warships without firing a shot? "A human one," Sira whispered. Later, in the fleet's war room, Korus called the council. "This ship is beyond our understanding. We cannot fight it." Vorek's face appeared on the holoscreen. "You will not return empty-handed. Send a boarding probe." Korus hesitated. "With respect, Counselor, that would be suicide." Vorek didn't blink. "That is an order." The boarding probe was launched. It was small, unmanned, remote-controlled. It reached Aegis and docked without resistance. Inside, the cameras showed long, empty halls, cold, metallic walls, the same glowing panels, the same eerie silence. Then, something new. The probe's camera caught a room filled with pods like coffins. Inside each one, a body. Human bodies. Not dead. Sleeping. The video feed crackled. The voice returned. You were warned. This is your final notice. The probe shut down. A pulse of light shot from Aegis. It passed through every ship, every system, then all. 5 ships found themselves back near Zarnari space. Instantly. As if moved by some power beyond physics. No damage. No signs of travel. Just moved. Korra's was pale. They sent us home, he said. But why didn't they destroy us? Sira asked. Korra's answered quietly. Because they don't see us as a threat. Back on Zarnari Prime, the council was divided. This is an act of war. Vorak shouted. This is mercy, Grell replied. They gave us one last warning. We must prepare defenses. Call in allies. Vorak insisted, but no one was listening to him anymore. Everyone had seen the same thing. A ship beyond imagination. Sleeping humans waiting inside. Technology that ignored physics, bent space, and showed mercy. They realized something terrifying. Humans had not been destroyed. They had simply stepped away, and now they were returning, but not as explorers. As watchers. And perhaps as judges. Far across the stars, Aegis entered a massive space structure hidden in a nebula. Dozens of ships like it floated in silence. The sleeping humans were not alone. They were part of something larger. And soon, the galaxy would know. The great hall of the Zarnari High Council shook with voices. Screens on every wall replayed the same footage. A black ship, silent and smooth, passing through 5 Zarnari warships like a ghost. Then, the probe. Then the message, you were warned. Elder Grell sat quietly at the head of the table, hands folded, eyes half closed. Around him, council members shouted, argued, and panicked. They transported 5 warships like toys. One counselor cried, that probe showed humans, sleeping inside. What does that mean? They are building something, or planning something. Counselor. Vorak stood and slammed his hands on the table. His voice cut through the noise. We can't sit here and do nothing, he barked. This ghost ship threatened us. And we thanked it by leaving? They spared us, said Nari, trying to stay calm. They had every chance to destroy our fleet, but they didn't. Vorak's eyes burned with anger. No, that was not mercy. That was dominance. They didn't kill us because they don't even care. The hall fell silent. Everyone felt it now. Fear, real fear. Not from weakness, but from the unknown. Later that evening, the council met in private chambers. Only 8 members were allowed in the room. Vorak paced the floor like a trapped animal. We must alert our allies. The Kalari, the Drethi, even the Varnak. If the humans are truly returning, we must prepare. Prepare for what? Asked Grell. His voice was soft but steady. War? If it comes to that, yes. Vorak snapped. Grell leaned back. And you think war will save us? When a single ship disabled 5 of ours without effort. When? They moved us across light years in seconds. Vorak turned sharply. So what do you suggest, old man? We wait? Bow before them? I suggest we remember, Nari frowned. Remember what? Grell tapped a small device on the table. The lights dimmed. A video played. An old, faded recording. A human, standing before a Zarnari ambassador. It was the last meeting before Earth went silent. The human wore black and silver, face calm, eyes sharp. His voice echoed in the room. We choose silence now. Not because we are weak, but because we need time. One day, we may return. If that day comes, do not search for us. Do not follow. You may not like what you find. The recording ended. Silence filled the chamber. Grell said, "They gave us a chance long ago, and now they're keeping their promise." The next morning, panic spread across the capital. Civilian ships reported strange signals near deep space. Energy burst short, sharp, powerful. Not from known civilizations. Rumors began. The humans are building an army. They're already here, watching us. They never left. A reporter interrupted state news with a leaked video, one from the war fleet. It showed the inside of Aegis, the sleeping humans. The voice, the galaxy saw it, and the panic grew. In secret rooms beneath the council tower, military leaders met with scientists and historians. What are these recovery zones? A general asked. No one had answers, but one historian stood. She was young, quiet, and carried a single datapad. "I found something," she said. Everyone turned to her. She placed the datapad on the table. It showed a star map, old and dusty. "These systems," she said, "are all connected to early human colonies, places they abandoned or lost contact with centuries ago." "So?" the general asked. She zoomed out. "Now look at the signals. The ones we detected this week. They're lighting up only in those systems." The room fell cold. "They're taking back what was theirs," she whispered. On the council floor, a final emergency meeting was called. Leaders from allied races appeared on large screens, each asking the same question. What do the humans want? Zarnari had no answer. Only Grell dared to speak. "I believe they want peace, but they want it on their terms. They tried to stay away. We forced them back." Vorek stood. "We must not show weakness now." Nari turned toward him, voice trembling with emotion. "You still don't understand, do you? They're not here to conquer us. They've already won without firing a shot." That night, every starport across Zarnari Prime received the same encrypted message. A simple sentence, broadcast on an old Earth frequency. "We are not your enemies, unless you choose to make us one." No name, no demand. Just a choice. And the galaxy had to decide. Far beyond their reach, inside a vast and hidden ring-shaped station near a dying star, the human fleet was gathering. Ships of different shapes and sizes moved like whispers in the dark. In a deep chamber, the sleepers began to wake. One by one, they opened their eyes. They were human, but changed, stronger, sharper. Their eyes glowed faint blue. One of them spoke. "The silence is broken." Another nodded. "It's time." The stars above Outpost X-92 were calm. Admiral Toran stood on the observation deck of the Kalari vessel Varnax Prime. His thin blue fingers tapped the glass nervously. For days they had tracked strange signals. Now those signals were near too. "Near? Anything?" he asked. "Still nothing, Admiral," replied his technician. "Scanners show ... empty space." Toran narrowed his eyes. "Then why does it feel like we're being watched?" At the edge of the outpost sensors, the Aegis waited. Its hull blended into space. Silent. Still. Inside, the ship's AI monitored everything. Movement. Power levels. Defense protocols. It had been tasked with one purpose: observe. But then something changed. Another fleet arrived. Not Zarnari, this time. It was the Kalari. They had come armed. 17 ships, long-range weapons. High alert, and they were broadcasting a message. Unknown. "Vessel, you are trespassing. Identify or be fired upon." The eye did not respond. Instead, it activated a new program. Phase 1, reveal, aboard the Varnax Prime. The crew gasped. "Admiral," shouted the officer. A ship just decloaked 2,000 kilometers ahead. Toran turned sharply. "Put it on screen." There it was, the Aegis. Dark, sleek, glowing softly with energy. The Kalari crew stared. "It doesn't match any known species," said a technician. "No registry, no heat signature. No sign of life. Is it a drone?" Someone asked. Tehran's. Heart pounded. He had heard rumors. He had seen the reports from the Zarnari Council. This might be human, he said quietly. One officer laughed nervously. Humans are extinct, sir. No, Tehran whispered. They're not. The Kalari ships locked weapons. Missiles hummed quietly, targeting systems engaged. Final warning to unknown vessel. Respond now. Still, the Aegis made no sound. Then, the message came. This is Aegis 1. Do not interfere with recovery protocols. Stand down. The voice was smooth, emotionless. But something about it made the Kalari freeze. Should we engage? The weapons officer asked. Tehran hesitated. Try to disable it. 1 EMP blast. Nothing more. The order was given. A single energy pulse launched toward the Aegis. It struck dead on. The lights on Aegis blinked for 1 second. Everything changed. The Kalari fleet lost power. All 17 ships dead in space. No control. Shouted. The pilot. Weapons down. Life support failing. Shields are offline. Another yelled. Tehran's voice cracked. How? We didn't even see it move. The Aegis glowed brighter. Its systems pulsed once. Then a new signal played across every ship. On every screen, you have made your choice. And then, the attack came, but it wasn't an attack in the way they expected. The Aegis didn't fire missiles. It didn't launch drones. It simply moved fast. So fast that even the sensors couldn't follow it. It passed through 2 ships. Not colliding, not damaging, just phasing through, and when it did, both ships shut down permanently. No explosion. No fire. Just silence. Tehran watched in horror. It's not destroying us. It's disabling us, one by one. Ship after ship lost power. As if touched by a ghost. Panic spread. We can't escape. We can't fight. It's inside our systems. Tehran stood frozen, heart racing. Then his screen turned black, and a face appeared. Human. Male. Eyes glowing faint blue. Skin pale, smooth. He looked calm. Dead calm. He spoke slowly. This encounter was not required. But your aggression forced contact. Remember this moment. Then the screen cut off. The lights on every Kalari ship returned. Engines restarted. Life support returned. Tehran collapsed into his chair. What just happened? His second-in-command asked. They let us go, Tehran whispered. But why? The admiral stared into space. Because they wanted us to see, to understand what's coming. That night, the Kalari Council received the full report. They watched the footage. They heard the voice. They saw their fleet, one of the strongest in the quadrant, helpless. What do we do now? A general asked. The council leader stood, face pale. We do nothing, he said. Nothing? The others shouted. They attacked us. No, the leader replied. They defended their silence. We crossed the line. One ambassador whispered. What if they come for us next? The leader looked up. They won't, unless we give them a reason. Across the stars, the human fleet gathered in silence. Ships floated in formation near a large station built inside an asteroid field. Inside Aegis, the AI finished its report. Target observed. Response measured. Mission complete. The screen showed thousands of data points. Ship models, weapon types. Reaction time. All stored. All analyzed. I paused. Then, a voice reel. Human spoke behind it. We're not here to destroy, just to remind them who we are. Another voice replied, a woman this time. But what if they don't learn? The man smiled. Then, we'll teach them again. Zarnari Prime's top science facility stood tall above the clouds. Inside its cold silver walls, the brightest minds of the Empire worked day and night to answer one question. What is the Aegis? 3 encounters, 3 warnings, 3 moments that rewrote everything the galaxy thought it knew about humanity. But no one could understand the how or the why. We've seen impossible speed, said Dr. Tivek, pacing the lab floor. No heat trail, no known power source. It bends physics. That ship shouldn't move like that. It shouldn't even exist, replied his assistant Vera. Humans were supposed to be extinct. Tivek tapped the screen in front of him. Yet this data says they're not just alive, they've evolved. And their technology ... He shook his head. No empire in the galaxy has anything close. In the center of the lab, a large floating cube pulsed softly with light. This was the only item the Zarnari recovered from the second encounter with Aegis, a fragment of its outer shell, found drifting in space. At first glance, it looked simple. Smooth black metal, cool to the touch, but scans revealed something else. It's changing, said Vera. Tivek looked at the readings. The atoms are ... rearranging. It's reacting to the room. Like it's alive? Vera asked. Not alive, aware. They stared at it in silence. Then the cube blinked once, twice. It displayed a small, glowing symbol, a circle with a line through it. Tivek backed away. That's the same icon that appeared during the Kilari incident. Do you think they know we're watching? I think they want us to. That same day, Military Command reviewed a full scan of the human ship from the first encounter. Admiral Sarix leaned over the table. Play the movement data again. The ship moved from one point to another in less than a second. No jump trace, no warp signature. Is it teleportation? Someone asked. No, said a scientist. It's worse. It's folding space. The room went quiet. Folding? Sarix asked. Yes, like taking a paper and bending it so 2 points touch. That ship doesn't travel. It reaches. Another officer spoke. That's not possible. You'd need a gravitational core the size of a moon. Yes, or something even more advanced. Admiral Sarix stood. We are facing a species. That broke the laws of physics and made it look easy. Back at the science lab, the cube began to hum. Vera's eyes widened. It's reacting again. The air in the room shifted. They heard a sound like a voice, but made of tones and pulses. Not words. The cube floated higher. Shut it down, Tivek shouted. It's not connected to anything. The cube spun once. Then it stopped. A new image appeared. Earth. Not the Earth from old records. A new one. Covered in lights, shields, rings of orbiting machines. Glowing blue lines ran across the surface like veins. This is a message, Tivek said. They want us to see it. Then, just as suddenly, the cube shut down. Dark, cold, silent. The council was alerted within the hour. They sent us that fragment, said Nari, staring at the projection. They wanted us to study it. And what did we learn? Asked Vurik, arms crossed. That we know nothing, Tivek replied. Their tech is beyond anything we can explain. It's alive, it thinks. It reacts. They gave us a warning, Grell added, and now they've given us proof. Vorek's face tightened. Or a threat. Tivek stepped forward. No, counselor. If they wanted to destroy us, they could have done it already. Instead, they're showing us just enough to make us afraid. To make us think. That night, Vera sat alone in the lab, staring at the cube. Then she heard it. A voice, soft, clear, human. You are not ready. She looked around. No one was there. The cube remained dark. She reached out. The cube lit up again. We remember what you did. Who are you? Vera. Whispered. The cube responded. We are what remains. What was hidden? What is rising? Then it powered down. Completely. In a hidden chamber beneath the Zarnari capital. Grell met with an old friend, someone who had once spoken with the last human ambassador. You said they were peaceful. Grell said. They were, the man replied, but peaceful is not the same as harmless. Do you think they'll come back fully? The man sighed. They already have. One ship is just the beginning. Then what should we do? He looked at Grell with tired eyes. Listen. Far across the stars, inside a hidden station orbiting a dead star, hundreds of human ships floated in perfect silence. Inside a control room, a figure watched hundreds of screens. Each showed a different alien. World Zarnari, Kilari, Drethi, others. The figure turned to a tall man in black armor. Have they understood the message? She asked. Some, he answered. Most are still trying to fight it. She looked back at the screen. Then we'll show them more. Outside, the ships began to move, not fast. Not loud, just quietly, like shadows before a storm. A cold wind blew across the surface of Vexor 3, a forgotten planet buried deep in the edges of the Zarnari star map. Once, it had been home to a thriving research colony. Now it was silent. Dust-covered buildings, dead scanners, empty air. But someone had come back. Inside a cracked dome, a lone Zarnari historian moved carefully through the ruins. Her name was Kellen, and she was searching for something lost to time. A voice crackled in her earpiece. Kellen, why are you out here? That place was shut down for a reason. I know, she replied. But the humans used to monitor this sector before they vanished. I found fragments records no one looked at for centuries. Then get in and get out. The council doesn't even know you're down there. Kellen entered a dark room filled with old data cores. Most were dead. One flickered weakly. She knelt beside it, connected her scanner and waited. A dull hum filled the space. Then a file opened. Her eyes widened. By the stars, she whispered. Hours later, Kellen stood in front of the Zarnari Council with a trembling voice. These records are real. I found them on Vexor 3 in an abandoned human archive left behind before. They disappeared. Counselor Nari leaned forward. What did you find? Kellen took a breath. They didn't die out. They left on purpose. They called it the Great Silence. And they planned it for centuries. What silence? Vurek barked. Kellen projected the file. On it, old human text scrolled across a star map. When the noise becomes too loud, we vanish. When the stars forget us, we return. Grell's eyes narrowed. They planned extinction? No, Kellen said. They faked it. They removed themselves from galactic life, disconnected from every network, shut down every beacon, abandoned every trace. Then, they waited. For what? Asked Nari. Kellen paused. For us to forget them. Far across the galaxy, on a lifeless moon orbiting a black gas giant, a Drethi science team discovered something strange. Beneath the surface, inside a mountain sealed with unbreakable metal, they uncovered a giant sphere. It hummed. Softly, no doors. No windows. Then, one Drethi touched it. The sphere opened. Inside, a single message was carved into the glowing walls. This is not a weapon. This is a reminder. The sphere activated. A beam of light shot into the sky. It disappeared into the stars. Within hours, every major news stream across the galaxy reported the event. Panic began to spread again. Another human structure awakens. The headline said, "This one built before they vanished, but left behind on purpose." In the Zarnari capital, the council chamber was full. Everyone watched as more discoveries poured in. Hidden satellites, buried transmitters, ghost stations hidden behind suns. All human, all silent. Until now, they planned all this, Grell said, voice low. They planted seeds across the stars and waited for us to water them. With fear. Why? Vurek asked. What do they gain by hiding? Nari answered softly. Patience. While we fought, traded, and ruled. They prepared. In a dark control room aboard one of the human ships, Commander Soren looked at a glowing display. Map. It showed every empire in the galaxy. Zarnari, Kilari, Drethi, Varnak. Each one marked, Tracked. A soft voice echoed behind him. Status? Soren turned. A woman in sleek armor entered. Her name was Illyra. She was not just a soldier, she was part of the old bloodline. Born of Earth, trained in silence. Awakenings complete, Soren said. 17 listening posts activated. 5 memory vaults triggered. Illyra stepped closer. And the reaction? They're afraid. She smiled. Good. Then it's working. Back on Zarnari Prime, Kellen was granted private access to old war records. She went deeper than any historian before her digging. Into classified files from over 300 years ago. She found a name repeated in red files. Project HFY. A final, secret communication from a human leader. It read, "We do not hate you. But you never listened. You studied us, feared us, mocked us. You wanted to control us, so we chose extinction. Not in death, but in silence. You cannot destroy what you cannot find." Kellen turned pale. She whispered to herself, "They disappeared. To become untouchable." Later, she met Grell in the garden behind the council chambers. He was old, but his mind was sharp. "They always said the humans were dangerous," Kellen said. Grell looked up at the stars. "No, not dangerous, different. That's why they scared." "US, do you think they'll attack?" "No," he said calmly. "They don't want war. Then what do they want now?" Grell watched the stars in silence. Judgment. Across the galaxy, more human ships appeared, not through warp gates, not with flashing engines, but simply. There. They moved like shadows. They hovered above dead worlds. They parked near ruined stations. Each ship sent the same signal. "We have returned. We are not your past. We are your future's shadow." And then, silence. Again. Inside the human fleet's central command. Illyra met with her council. "We don't need to destroy them," she said. "They're already unraveling. Fear will do the work for us." Soren nodded. "We've become myths. Ghosts, legends, but now we become real again." A younger officer spoke. "Some are starting to understand." "Should we talk to them?" "Not yet," Illyra said. "Let them remember. Let them regret." She stood and walked to the observation window. Beyond it, a million stars glowed, and soon, every one of them would remember Earth. Aboard the Drethi command ship Valkyrian, Admiral Sarek stood still, staring at the hologram floating above his war table. The map of the galaxy was filled with red marks, each one a new signal, human signals. Quiet, steady, and growing. He spoke. Slowly. 17 more in the last cycle? His science officer nodded, her voice uneasy. "Yes, Admiral. We don't know how they're doing it. No warp trails. No engine signatures. They just appear." Sarek clenched his jaw. Ghost ships from nowhere. There was a silence. Then, something new blinked into view. Another signal. This one was different. Its location was marked deep in the void, a black region beyond any known star systems. No empire dared go there. It was cold, empty, a place even light didn't travel. Sarek stared at the coordinates. "That is impossible." On Zarnari Prime, Kellen sat in the council archives, deep underground. The lights were low. Screens around her flickered, some filled with old human language she had just begun to translate. Her fingers trembled as she read line after line. Symbols from the new signal matched something ancient, thousands of years old. Then, a tone echoed through the room. Incoming transmission. She stared at the monitor. Her mouth went dry. Origin, unknown. Language, human dead dialect. Message, playing ... She leaned closer. The screen turned black. A voice came through. Rough. Calm. Human. "You forgot your place in the dark. Now we remind you." Kellen's breath caught. The message continued. "We watched your wars. We watched your lies. We gave you silence. You gave us nothing in return. So now, you hear our voice again." The voice faded. Static returned. Kellen jumped from her chair and ran in a hidden base beneath the moons of Varnak 4. Alira watched as her officers gathered around her. The message had been sent. Not just to one system, but to all of them. She turned to Commander Soren. Reactions? He replied, fear, panic. The Zarnari are trying to hide it. The Drethi are scrambling their fleets. The Kalari are praying to their sun god. A small smile touched her lips. Good. Let them wonder. Let them remember. Another officer asked, what now? Alira looked out at the star map on the wall. Now we wait. The dark speaks. And soon, they'll speak back. On the capital world of Kalari Prime, holy leader Ashareth knelt before the flame shrine. Around him, high priests and warriors whispered with fear. He raised his hand. The prophecy warned us, voices from the shadows. Fireborn of silence. Lightless kings, it is them. A young priest asked, should we fight? Ashareth shook his head slowly. You cannot fight what does not fear death. His eyes turned to the sky above the temple dome, where 3 strange ships now hovered silent. Watching. No, he whispered, you pray to light. But you forgot the power of darkness. Kellen arrived at the Zarnari High Council chamber breathless. They sent a message from the void. Counselor Vurik snapped. From where? From the black between stars. From the place we thought was empty. Nari leaned forward. What did it say? Kellen repeated the words, each one sharp like a blade. You forgot your place in the dark. Now we remind you. The room fell silent. Kellen spoke again, slower this time. They were never gone. They've been under us, around us, beyond us, watching. Counselor Grell looked pale. And now? They are letting us hear their voice, Kellen said. Only their voice for now. In the dark sector beyond. All known maps, a satellite blinked to life. It was Zarnari made, launched 200 years ago. Thought lost. Now it sent a final image back before being erased. A shape, a station. Black, massive. Human dash made. Thousands of lights lined its curved surface. Ships moved around it like insects. And across its hull, a message glowed in white light. We remember everything. On the edge of the Drethi Empire, Admiral Syrax gathered a secret council. We can't wait. We must strike first. A commander objected. We don't even know where they're based. Another said, what if this is bait? What if they want US to attack? Syrax slammed his fist. If we don't act, we'll be wiped out. We are the oldest race in the galaxy. We built the first jump gates. We must stand. Silence followed. Then a voice from the corner. You're already standing in a grave. Everyone turned. A human officer stood in the shadows, dressed in black. He had entered without being seen. Without alarms, he held no weapon, but his eyes burned. I bring a final message, he said. They reached for weapons. He raised a hand. Too late. Above Zarnari Prime, the stars flickered. Then one of them moved. It wasn't a star. It was a ship. No engine flare. No sound, just motion, like a shadow crawling. Across space. And then another. And another. Hundreds. Thousands. All drifting silently. All human. Each one broadcast the same signal. Do not fear extinction. Fear what comes after. Back in the council chamber, Cullen looked at the live star feed. She didn't speak. She didn't move. Because now, she understood. It wasn't a threat. It was a warning. The humans were not coming to fight. They were coming to show something, and the galaxy wouldn't be ready. Darkness hung over the galaxy like a heavy cloud. Every major species, the Zarnari, the Drethi, the Kalari, and more had stopped fighting one another. For the first time in history, their fleets weren't facing each other. But something else. Something that didn't speak much. Something that didn't need to. Because the message was clear now. Humanity had returned. But no one knew why. No demands. No Ambassadors. No war yet. Only silence and movement. Kellen stood at the high observatory of Zarnari Prime, her eyes locked on the sky. Ships still filled the space above, black, sleek human vessels with no visible engines, no heat signatures. They floated like ghosts, watching. Behind her, Counselor Vurek whispered, "They've surrounded 56 planets now. Still. No attack." Kellen shook her head. "They don't want war. Not yet. They're doing something else." "What?" She turned slowly. "They're reminding us. On the old world of Garsa 4, Druthi scientists broke into an ancient vault. They were hunting for human remains, anything from before the disappearance. Inside, they found bones. Technology. Fused to DNA. Weapons grown from blood." One researcher screamed. "They weren't just soldiers. They were machines. They were evolution gone wild." The lead scientist stared at a cracked human skull. Etched into the forehead was something terrifying. "We adapt." At the Zarnari Central Network Core, Kellen received another signal. It wasn't a message this time. It was a stream. Video. She played it on the main screen in the war room. An old battlefield appeared. Dust, smoke, fire, alien bodies everywhere. A single human soldier walked through it, armor broken, bloodied. One eye gone, but he still moved, still fought, still smiled. He looked into the recording drone and said calmly, "Pain is part of the plan." Then the screen cut to black. Underneath, one word appeared, "Observe." Above the ice planet Vena, a massive Druthi fleet prepared for attack. "Target locked," said a captain. "Fire." Missiles launched. Beams screamed. War filled the sky. But before any shot reached the human ships, they vanished. Completely. Gone. Where did they go? The admiral shouted. No one knew. But then, a moment later, every Druthi ship shut down. Engines cold. Lights off. Weapons dead. A new message played across their screens. "If you shoot into the dark shoots back." In the quiet temple halls of Kalari Prime, Ashareth knelt once more. One of his guards rushed in. "High One, the dark ships have landed." Ashareth nodded slowly. "Yes, I know. Should we attack?" "No." "Should we run?" "No." The guard's voice broke. "Then what should we do?" Ashareth looked at the night sky. "We listen." In space, near the edge of the Andari Nebula, a massive human station came online. It was shaped like a great ring, spinning slowly. On board, Alira stood before a circle of other humans leaders, warriors, thinkers. "It is time," she said. One of them nodded. "They fear us." Another replied, "Good. Let that fear become memory." Alira raised her hand. "Play it." Across the galaxy, screens lit up. Even on ancient worlds, even on broken satellites long thought dead, all of them played the same thing. A recording from Earth. Old Earth, ruined, burned, rebuilt. A child's voice spoke softly. "We were broken. We were hunted. We were left behind." Images of burning cities, fallen soldiers, alien fleets above Earth's surface. But we learned. Images changed. Cybernetic limbs, neural upgrades, genetic forges. We grew stronger in silence, in shadows. Then came the voices of many. "You called us monsters. You called us weak. You tried to erase us. And finally, you were wrong." Back in the Zarnari Council chamber, Vurek whispered, "Is this a threat?" Kellen stood tall. "No, it's a declaration." "Of what?" She looked him in the eye. "Of survival." On the human station, Alira spoke again. "We never came to conquer. We came to witness. To see what the galaxy did after forgetting us." She paused. "And we are not impressed." A young commander beside her grinned. "Should we begin phase 2? Alira smiled. "No, not yet. Let them sweat. Let them talk. That's what they always did. We're better at listening." She stepped to the window, staring at the distant stars. And when they ask why we came back, they won't like the answer. Back on Zarnari Prime, a storm of reports flooded in. Human ships were now over 80 planets. Still not a single shot fired. Still no words, Doc, just the silence. And the signal pulsing through every system now. A single word: remember. Kellen finally understood that it wasn't war, that it wasn't revenge, that it was justice, that not for power, or planets or pride, but for being erased. And now, the galaxy would never forget, because humanity had returned. And they weren't asking for a seat at the table. They were replacing the table itself.